So this video is a little bit about Stetson's journey to the Heisman, but it's mostly just about the weapons that Georgia has on offense. I've sat here and I'm riding home and all of that for, I guess, since they won the national championship, saying, wow, Georgia is stacked on offense with their weapons. I do believe that. I think that Georgia's depth of different types of weapons is some of the best in the country. They only have one superstar on offense, and that's Brock Bowers. And, you know, other teams typically don't have more than one superstar. But they're not as stacked as, like... People talk about how Stetson was carried to a Heisman. Stetson was carried to a national championship. Stetson was carried to this. Stetson can't do that. No. He has developed, and yes, he should develop. He is old. He should develop, but he did. So I don't know why we're knocking him for being old, but he developed, and he has played well with what he's been given. So last year, George Pickens, one of the best, one of the most talented wide receivers Georgia's ever had, in George Pickens. He plays like 2 or 3 games, right? And he barely plays in those 2 or 3 games because he tore his ACL in the offseason. Jermaine Burton missed a little bit of time. Like, these guys that are their superstars. Obviously, Brock Bowers was their ultimate guy. But, like, they don't have all these 5-star weapons. They don't. They've got a bunch of 4 stars and some 3 stars, but they don't have all these 5-star weapons. And so, like, yes, the defense helps a lot. It should. That's the whole point of their team that they built. The offensive line, phenomenal. There are 5 stars on the offensive line. But Stetson's not throwing to a bunch of, like, bona fide studs out of high school. He's throwing to guys that developed and have become studs. And so it doesn't really matter once you get on the field, but there are no 5 stars in that running back room. They're all 4 stars. The closest guy to a 5-star receiver is Dominic Blaylock. And he's obviously, barely in there. Darnell Washington is a 5-star that they throw to like once a game. And that's it. The rest are 4 or 3 stars. A.D. Mitchell and Lama Conkey were 3 stars. Dylan Bell, 3-star. Kyrus Jackson, low 4-star. I'm looking at these guys. Marcus Wilson-Jackson, 4-star. Bowers is their guy, right? He's the guy. And maybe he was a 5-star talent. Maybe he should have deserved that, but he was a 4-star. And so the point I'm making here is they've got a ton of dudes that are capable. All of these guys are talented, very talented. But it's not like Georgia's offense is just filled with 5 stars. It's not. The defense is filled with 5 stars. Georgia's offense, let me think in the starting lineup, who were 5 stars? Broderick Jones. And Darnell Washington? It took me a minute there. I think those are the only 5 stars in the starting lineup. Fact check me. Amarius Mims plays sometimes. He's a 5-star. I don't think there are any other 5 stars. So that's kind of my point is, like, yes, like, okay, CJ Stroud is super talented. He's got, like, a bunch of NFL receivers and some NFL running backs. So Georgia, I think, has, like I think some of these guys are NFL guys. I think Bowers is an NFL guy. I think Lama Conkey's an NFL guy. I think A.D. Mitchell and Darnell Washington. I don't really think Kyrus Jackson and Marcus Wilson-Jackson, Dominic Blaylock at this point in time are really NFL guys. They might get drafted. Dejan Edwards, Kendall Milton, I don't know. So, like, my point being is he's not throwing a bunch of NFL receivers. I think that they have NFL potential. But, like, Caleb Williams has got a couple NFL guys. Max Duggan's got a top 10 pick in Quentin Johnson. So that's my point. Yes, Stetson's all-around team is better. But this team, I don't think the team is like talent. Like, talent can be developed and talent can appear when you get to college. It doesn't always just mean you're a 5-star, you're going to ball out. You're a 3-star, you're not going to ball out. It changes when you get to college. They get developed really well at Georgia. That's been proven over the last few years. But my point being is a lot of these guys I don't think are NFL players. I just don't think, like, and there's no hate. It's just the truth. There's not Bijan Robinson on this team. I mean, it's Brock Bowers is that, but they don't use him the way you think that you would use a superstar like that. They spread the love. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here. I probably should have done this earlier. Make sure you're checking out DAWGSTRUCTION down below. Links are down below for all the signed merch. There's other things other than the book if you've already got it. You can get the book without the signature. They're all great gifts. They're great gifts. Make sure you're looking at all that. Plug in all that. Kendall, and also, some of the guys have been injured, all right? Ladd McConkey's played through injury. A.D. Mitchell has barely played this season. Kendall Milton missed some time. Those are all guys that are huge pieces of this offense. Dominic Blaylock and Arian Smith always working through injury, right? It's not a healthy offense. Yet they're putting up 40 a game. They put up 50 in the SEC Championship. That's happened like less than 5 times. So, and we're going to say that's not because of Stetson Bennett at all? It is. I feel like it's funny. I've been ranting on a lot of videos recently. People are just wrong. So we're gonna say that like Stetson Bennett is being carried? So Stetson Bennett, when he's running around the pocket like a crazy, I don't have a picture of it, when he's running around the pocket like crazy man against Tennessee and is escaping tackles and diving to the pylon, that's because of all these people that are carrying him? Or him throwing a dime down the field, that's because people are carrying him, making a read, making the right play? His offensive line is phenomenal. It's probably the best offensive line in college football. It is not the best room of weapons. It is not. Now, I think they're very good, but it is not. I understand, but there are only 2 5-star starters on this offense. Fact check me. I think the rest of them are 4 stars. Cedric Van Pran might be a 5-star. I don't remember. It's a Matt question. But the sentiment that he has been carried to where he's at is frustrating to me because it's just not true. This is a team. I've never, like, some of the Alabama teams in the 2010s, but like, and LSU 2019, but like, this is a team. Nobody's carrying anybody. You can talk to these guys. They want to play for each other. This is the most, like, I obviously haven't been around like really close football teams like this because I've been doing this for a few years. That's it. So I haven't been around, but like, I see the headline. I see stuff. Like, this is a gelled group of young men that want to play for Georgia, that want to play for the G, that want to win a championship. This is not, Stetson's not playing for Stetson. All right? I don't, like, Darnell is not playing for Darnell. Jalen Carter's not playing, like, they are obviously playing for themselves, but they're also playing for what they're doing together as a group. And that's what, like, I have to sneeze. Arik Gilbert, he doesn't play, right? This is a super talented guy. He could probably go be wherever he wants to be, but he's at Georgia getting help for whatever it is. I'm not going to comment. And I'm sorry. And my point is my point is that Georgia is what they're playing for. Ladd McConkey was not, like, Ladd McConkey is Georgia's number 2 receiver this year. 51 catches, second in catches behind Brock, and second in yards, and second in touchdowns, all behind Brock Bowers. He's the number 1 receiver, wide receiver, part of that A.D. Mitchell's injury. Like, this is a guy that Kirby had to go find. Man. So, Stetson, a guy that had to develop, a guy that had to get better. A.D. Mitchell was a 3-star. Dylan Bell was a 3-star. I've said some of this stuff already. Dejan Edwards was not this, like, super recruit running back. So, it's these guys have all gotten better in Athens. They're all playing for each other. They know what national championship tastes like. And they know, like, Karis Jackson is a talented guy, right? He's good. He's a good wide receiver. He's a reliable wide receiver. Not super talented, but he's good enough, right? I feel like that was a slight towards him, and it wasn't. I think Kearis Jackson's a really good football player and a really good teammate. He talks about putting the numbers up on the wall. It's not about him. Dean speaks highly of Kearis Jackson. He could go somewhere else and play more, but they like the connectivity connection. That's what they talk about. That's my point. Georgia, no one's carrying anybody. They're all carrying a piece of the ship. Make sure you check out the links down below. The sneeze attack really disoriented me. Dawgpost.com. We'll see you everywhere.